On the streets of a busy city, where the noise of honking cars and the rush of pedestrians created an overwhelming symphony of sounds, a small, frail cat lay in an alley, abandoned and barely alive. Her fur was matted with dirt and blood, her body thin from hunger and neglect. The world seemed to have forgotten her, and the pain of her existence was something she bore quietly, as if the world's cruelty had slowly eroded her will to fight. Her name was Luna, but at that moment she had no name, no identity. She was just another stray, a discarded creature on the side of a bustling street, ignored by most who passed by. Her eyes, once bright and full of life, had dimmed with each passing day. It was a miracle that she had managed to survive for so long, but Luna was a fighter. She held on even though every day felt like it might be her last. Luna's life before the streets wasn't much better. She had been born into a litter of kittens abandoned by their mother in a cardboard box behind a convenience store. As a kitten, she had been vulnerable and scared, but she had learned to fend for herself early on. But as she grew older, the challenges of living on the streets only grew. She was chased by other cats, often went days without food, and was forced to take refuge in dark corners where people wouldn't notice her. Despite everything, Luna had a quiet strength. She had survived the toughest of circumstances, but nothing could prepare her for the injury that would nearly take her life. One evening, a woman named Emily was walking home from her job at a nearby cafe. It had been a long day and she was tired, eager to get home and unwind. As she passed the alley near her apartment, she heard a faint sound, almost like a soft meow. At first, she thought it was just another stray cat, as there were many in the area. But as she looked closer, she saw something that made her heart drop. Luna, the small cat, lay on the cold concrete, trembling and struggling to breathe. Her body was covered in wounds, and it was clear that she had been through something unimaginable. Emily's heart ached as she took in the sight of the poor creature. She had seen many stray cats over the years, but this was different. Luna's eyes, though filled with pain, still held a glimmer of hope, and something in them called out to Emily. Without hesitation, Emily knelt down and gently approached the cat. Luna, too weak to move, let out a soft meow and looked up at Emily. She was scared, but she sensed that this woman, who was offering her kindness, could be trusted. Emily's instincts kicked in, and she knew she couldn't leave Luna behind. She carefully scooped the cat into her arms, feeling the bones of her frail body beneath her fur. Luna weighed almost nothing, and Emily could feel her heartbeat, slow and faint. It was clear that the cat had been through an ordeal, but there was still a small flicker of life within her. Emily rushed home and immediately called her vet, hoping they would be able to help. She knew it was a long shot. Luna's injuries seemed extensive, but she was determined to try. The vet, Dr. Sandra, agreed to see Luna right away. When they arrived at the clinic, Emily didn't leave her side. She held Luna gently, her heart heavy with worry, but there was a spark of determination in her eyes. Dr. Sandra took one look at Luna and immediately got to work, examining the cat's wounds and assessing the damage. The cat's body was covered in cuts and bruises, and there were signs of infection in several areas. Her leg appeared broken and her breathing was shallow. It was clear that Luna had been hit by a car, and her chances of survival were slim. But Dr. Sandra was not one to give up easily. She set to work treating Luna's wounds, carefully cleaning and bandaging her injuries. They started in 4 to hydrate her and administered antibiotics to fight the infection. It was a long, painstaking night, but Emily refused to leave. She sat by Luna's side, softly speaking to her, offering comfort, and hoping that the little cat would pull through. As the night wore on, Luna's condition slowly stabilized. She was still fragile, but she was alive, and that was all that mattered. Dr. Sandra told Emily that they would need to monitor Luna closely for the next few days, as her recovery would be slow and uncertain. There was no guarantee that Luna would make it, but Emily knew she had to give her the best chance possible. Days turned into weeks, and Luna's recovery was nothing short of miraculous. Emily spent every moment she could with her, feeding her small meals, giving her medicine, and keeping her as comfortable as possible. Luna's leg was carefully wrapped, and she was given time to rest, but her spirit slowly began to return. She would purr softly when Emily stroked her fur, and she began to take small steps around the house, her eyes slowly brightening with each passing day. As Luna's strength grew, Emily couldn't help but notice the change in her. There was a quiet dignity in the way she carried herself, as if she knew she had been given a second chance at life, and she wasn't going to waste it. Luna had gone from being a broken, helpless creature to a strong, resilient cat who was determined to make the most of her new life. The road to full recovery wasn't easy. Luna's leg healed, but it never fully regained its strength. She limped slightly when she walked, but it didn't slow her down. She learned to adapt, and her determination was inspiring. As the weeks went by, Luna grew more affectionate, following Emily around the house and curling up in her lap whenever she could. It was clear that the bond between them had deepened. One day as Emily sat on the couch reading a book, Luna jumped up beside her, curling up beside her with a soft purr. Emily smiled and stroked her gently, amazed by how far Luna had come. The cat who had been abandoned and left for dead was now a healthy, happy companion. Luna had not only survived the streets and the trauma, but she had thrived in the warmth and love of her new home. But Luna's story didn't end there. Emily soon realized that Luna's miraculous recovery was a testament to the power of love, hope, and second chances. She began sharing Luna's story on social media, hoping to inspire others who were struggling or facing difficult situations. The story of Luna, the cat who had been left to die on the streets, now thriving in a loving home, struck a chord with people everywhere. Emily received messages from people across the country, many of whom were moved by Luna's story. Some shared their own stories of rescue animals, while others simply expressed their admiration for the strength and resilience that Luna had shown. The story of Luna touched hearts everywhere, and Emily felt a deep sense of gratitude for the cat who had taught her so much about perseverance and the healing power of love. As time went on, Luna continued to blossom. She became a beloved part of Emily's family, a constant reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is always hope. Her story served as a beacon of light for others, reminding them that even when things seem impossible, there is always a chance for a new beginning. In the years that followed, Luna remained a source of comfort and inspiration for Emily. They traveled together, visited animal shelters to share Luna's story, and advocated for rescue animals in need. Luna had become more than just a pet. She had become a symbol of survival, of the power of kindness, and of the miraculous things that can happen when we give second chances. Luna's journey from being abandoned and broken on the streets to becoming a beloved companion was a reminder that no one and no creature is beyond redemption. Even in the face of hardship and suffering, there is always a possibility for recovery, for healing, and for love. Luna had been given a second chance and she had made the most of it, showing everyone who crossed her path that miracles do happen, even in the most unexpected places.